Oops.
Hey, great news. The doctors say your grandma's doing much better now.
What do you care?
I just thought you'd like to know is all.
Yeah, well, if you hadn't come along, who knows if we'd even be here right now?
Look, I'm sorry that the snake came along and all, but I don't think that had anything to do with me. These things just happen sometimes. Here. Again, I'm sorry that snake came along. It wasn't really private property.
If you push this thing like you drive, I'm liable to end up right back in the hospital.
I guess this cantankerous woman is getting out of here.
How are you this morning, Chicken Bitty? Sleeping down the night?
I slept fine. How are you feeling, Graham?
Piddles.
You about ready to hit the road, Chickabiddy?
I guess so.
Oh. I wonder if he found what he was looking for.
Do you think we should call Daddy? Tell him what happened?
Well, now, Chickabiddy, I thought about that, but it's only gonna make your daddy worry. Can't wait until we get to Idaho? Oh, you hear that, Chickabiddy? That's a singing tree, right? That's a good sign.
Yeah. I'm glad you're feeling well enough to get back on the road, Graham.
Me too. Huzzah, huzzah. Now let's go. I gotta know what happens next. Phoebe.
Well, the morning after Phoebe's mother met, she was as ornery as a donkey.
What am I going to tell everyone at school today?
You don't have to tell anyone anything.
Don't be ridiculous, Sal. As soon as they see my wrinkled blouse, they'll know something's wrong.
Really? Who?
Megan? Christy? Mary Lou Finney?
Just tell them your mom went on a business trip.
Oh, that'll go over well. What shall I say then? London? Tokyo?
It was just a suggestion.
I know. How about Saudi Arabia?
Stop worrying, Phoebe.
I'm not worried.
Phoebe, we're late. Have you finished breakfast?
Did you call the police?
No, Phoebe. I did not call the police. I know you're worried, but we have to go on with things.
I'm sick. I have a fever and a stomach ache.
I'm afraid you have to go to school.
I'm sick, honest. It might be cancer.
That's nothing to joke about. Now please finish your breakfast so we can get going. We can't malinger.
We can't what?
Malinger. Here, look it up.
Great. My mother's missing. My father hands me a dictionary.
What does it say?
Malinger. To pretend to be ill in order to escape duty or work?
Maybe you're just really tired.
I am not malingering!
On the way to school the next day, Phoebe had what was becoming an all too familiar look on her face.
He's back.
Who?
The lunatic, that's who.
Every man has his own agenda.
Lordy, ain't that the truth? Ain't that what it's all about?
What, Graham?
Everyone's just walking along, minding their own business, and we're expecting everyone else to tune into our agenda. Look at my worry. Worry with me. Step into my life. Care about my problems. Care about me.
That snake bite turned you into a philosopher or something?
My agenda. Keep telling, Sal.
Well, Phoebe had definitely sucked me into her problems.
This isn't good.
Phoebe, if the lunatic had really kidnapped your mother, would he still be leaving messages?
I don't know, Sal. I don't pretend to understand the inner workings of a deranged mind. Maybe he's taunting us. Maybe he wants to get caught. Maybe he's watching us, recording our every move. What was that?
What was what?
Someone's coming.
Boom! Did I scare you?
Absolutely not.
Oh, don't people touch each other at your house, Sal?
What is that supposed to mean?
You flinch every time someone touches you.
Well, you did just scare the living daylights out of us.
So I did scare you, freebie ice bottom.
Do I really flinch?
Yeah, Yeah, you do.
What are you doing?
I'm reading your palm.
Can she have her hand back now?
Would you like to hear the good news first, or the bad news?
Bad news? How bad?
Bad news is... I can't really read palms.
What?
But wait, don't you want to hear the good news?
No!
How's your mom, Phoebe?
What?
How's she enjoying London?
Oh, she's fine.
What's that she's seen?
I don't...
Didn't you tell me she saw Buckingham Fountain?
yeah. Buckingham Fountain.
That's cool. How about your mom, Sal?
My mom?
Yeah, I just want to know, because I've never seen her around here before.
Oh, she's in Idaho.
What's she doing all the way over there?
I don't really like saying.
Gotcha again.
Benjamin Finney, must you always have your own agenda? Come on, Sal.
You know, one time my father left for 6 months without telling a soul where he was going. When my best friend asked me where he was, I hauled off and punched him right in the jaw. My best friend, I punched him dang in the jaw.
You never told me that. I hope he socked you right back.
You see this? He knocked my tooth dang out.
Why do boys have to be so gall-darn quarrelsome? Ready to knock someone's lights out whenever they get the slightest bit agitated.
Sometimes the body does things before the mind has the time to stop it.
What do you think it means if someone touches someone else and the person being touched flinches? Do you think that means the person getting touched is just getting too stiff?
Mwah! See? You didn't flinch that time.
Give her one for me, too.
Mwah!
You see, Sal? That boy, Ben, don't know what he's talking about.
Are you okay, Graham?
Just fine. Go on. Keep going.
Well, Ben followed me and Phoebe back to her house, where we got the biggest surprise of our lives.
Oh, hey, is that Mr. Berkway?
I wonder what he's doing over at Mrs. Cadaver's house.
I bet you he's Mrs. Cadaver's secret lover. I bet you he's the reason she murdered her husband.
Oh, please.
Come on, Sal, don't be naive. I'm sure they're gonna plant the bush right on top of her dead husband's grave.
I wonder what's taking Ben so long.
Ben, come back!
Ben, don't go!
Sal, something's definitely going on here. I definitely don't think you or your father should go over there anymore.
Maybe you're right. When we were over there for dinner the other night, I couldn't help but notice all sorts of strange things. Creepy masks on the walls, old swords too, and books with titles like Murder in the Rue Morgue, or The Skull and the Hatchet, or Murders in the Air.
See? I really hope we see Ben at school tomorrow.
Dad, how much do you know about Mrs. Cadaver?
You're ready to talk about Margaret?
Well, there were a few things that I wanted to mention.
I've been meaning to explain to you
When
about
Phoebe and I saw her creeping through her yard with a flashlight,
creeping.
and there's this man who visits her,
Sal, this sounds like spying.
and I don't think we should go over there anymore.
Sal, you're trying to catch a fish in the air.
She's dangerous. She's not who you think she is.
Your mother is not coming back, Sal.
Never mind.
I'd like to explain about her.
No, don't. I don't need any explanations.
Sal, please don't be unreasonable.
Maybe all those things I said about Margaret Cadaver made me seem foolish, but if Phoebe was right, then we all needed to be paying a lot more attention. I didn't want to see Daddy get hurt again. So Phoebe convinced me that we needed to take matters into our own hands.
Sal, come on.
I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to be sneaking into Mrs. Cadaver's house when she's not home.
I just want to take a quick look.
Sal?
It's a ghost.
Sal, is that you?
Mrs. Partridge, what are you doing?
I was just sitting here reading. go ahead and turn on a light if you like.
Isn't it awfully dark to be reading?
Is that Phoebe with you?
Yes, ma'am.
It's Braille. I was reading with my fingers.
She's blind?
Yes, I am, but I am not deaf. Those creaky floors will keep a mouse away. Now what are you two doing tiptoeing through my house in the dark?
We knew that Margaret was at work, so we thought we'd stop by and see how you were getting along on your own.
Is that right? That's awfully sweet of you ladies.
What you reading?
Murders at Midnight. It's a mystery. Careful you don't hurt yourself. Are you all right?
Yes, fine, absolutely.
Phoebe, come over here and let me have a look at you.
What?
Your face. I want to feel your face.
It's okay, Phoebe.
Just as I thought. 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. Why, Phoebe, I think I met your brother the other day.
I don't have a brother.
Oh, no? Well, I guess this old noggin isn't as sharp as it used to be.
Sal, don't you think we ought to be going?
Already? Why, you only just got here.
Phoebe's right. Like you said, it's late.
Did I say it was late?
Yeah. We really gotta be going to school tomorrow and everything, but it was really great seeing you again. Yeah. It's good to know you're doing well. See ya.
Those girls aren't much for socializing, are they?
That was close. Slow down. As soon as I get home, I'll make a list of things the police will want to investigate further. Police? Those strange sores on the walls, the suspicious blood stains on the floor, and several hair strands I picked up. We can't waste any more time. As soon as we get out of school tomorrow, we're going to the police.
Dynamite. Unbelievable.
I wonder what he's so happy about.
Ladies and gentlemen, your summer journals are absolutely astounding. In fact, even though I haven't read through every page yet, I wanted to share some of these amazing passages with you right away.
Share with the class? Uh-oh.
Fear not, I'll change any names you've used so that no one is embarrassed.
May I please go to the bathroom?
I'm gonna be sick. Can I go to the nurse?
Now let's not malinger.
What's malinger? Look it up.
Here we go. This is what I like about Jane. She is smart, but doesn't act like she knows everything. She is cute.
Ben, what's wrong? Is something the matter? Phoebe, leave him alone.
She smells good. She is cute.
I'm sounding Ben's ill. Sal, Ben, is there something you need to tell us, or should Sal tell us?
She makes me laugh. She is cute.
Seriously? See, Phoebe, stop it. Besides, it couldn't have been me. I wasn't here during the summer, remember?
Ah, love. Ah, life. Here's another one. I think that Jane doesn't know the first thing about boys. She once asked me what kisses tasted like, so you could tell she hadn't ever kissed anyone. I told her they tasted like chicken, and she believed me. She can be so dumb sometimes.
Who wrote that? Did you, Phoebe?
Now, Mary Lou, let's not jump to conclusions.
You cabbage and you beef brain? I did know what they taste like, and it wasn't chicken.
Shall we keep going? She popped the blackberries into her mouth, then looked all around her, took 2 steps up to the tree, threw her arms around it, and kissed it. Later that day, I put my lips where hers had been, and to this day, I can still smell the smell of the bark, feel its ridges on my lips, and taste the distinctive taste, mixed with the taste of blackberries. Marvelous! Brilliant!
She kisses trees. So much for brave.
Shall we move on? I am very concerned about Mrs. Corpse. Her suspicious behavior suggests that she has murdered her husband. Funny, I don't remember reading this one.
I think I'm gonna have a heart attack.
Go on.
Yeah, keep going.
I believe that she has buried him in her backyard. Ah, yes, well, I believe that's enough for today. We'll continue this on Monday, perhaps.
Whoa, a murder. Who wrote that one?
Come on, Sal, he knows it's now or never. Phoebe was right. Now that Mr. Berkway had read her journal, we had to get to the police immediately. Excuse me? Hello? This is absolutely urgent. I need to speak with someone. About a murder?
Is this a joke?
Or possibly a kidnapping. But the kidnapping might turn into a murder.
1 second. Sergeant Pickle, I think you should hear this.
In a matter of moments, Phoebe had explained everything to Sergeant Bickle. About the disappearance of her mother, the absence of Mrs. Cadaver's husband, and the suspicious rhododendron bush in her backyard. And then all about the lunatic and the mysterious messages he was leaving behind.
And how do these events relate to your mother's disappearance?
That's what I want you to find out.
Phoebe, I don't think he believes us.
Of course he does. Why wouldn't he? I'm sure he's putting his best man on it right now.
Listen, Phoebe, was it? Yes, Phoebe. Does your father know you're here?
Of course he does.
And this other woman, Mrs.
Cadaver. It means dead body.
Right. Have you talked to her about any of these concerns you have?
Are you crazy? And let her know that we're on to her?
Show him the hair strands.
Hair strands?
Yeah. I found these in Mrs. Cadaver's living room after my mother disappeared.
Along with some peculiar blood spots on the floor.
Yeah. But I didn't have enough time to collect a sample.
Excuse me, Sergeant, your son's here.
Excuse me, girls.
Phoebe, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
I sure hope not.
Is that who I think it is?
Sure as I'm alive. That's the lunatic.
Excuse me, Sergeant, this is Mr. Winterbottom.
Uh-oh.
Thank you for coming down on such short notice, Mr. Winterbob. I know this is a very difficult time for you right now.
I'm very sorry to have wasted your time.
If it's all, and that's completely fine with me, I could go talk with Mrs. Cadaver if you
That
want.
won't be necessary. Thank you. Phoebe, I thought I told you we didn't need to contact the police.
I couldn't wait any longer. We were wasting time. There were kidnappers walking the streets.
Phoebe, your mother phoned today.
She did?
Yes, she called Mrs. Cadaver.
Mrs. Cadaver? Why would she call her?
I haven't been able to speak to Mrs. Cadaver myself yet. She left us a note.
Norma called to say that she's okay. P.S. I've left town and won't be back for a few days? I don't believe it. It's not true. She probably murdered her and chopped her up and isn't coming back until she's properly disposed of the body.
Phoebe, that is enough. I'll not have you making ridiculous accusations of Mrs. Cadaver or anyone else.
But Dad!
I haven't slept in 3 days. The house is a disaster. The dishes are piling up. There's a week's worth of laundry I haven't the slightest idea how to deal with, and I've been through the entire phone book asking anybody I can think of about your mother. Do you think this is easy for me? Do you think I enjoy spreading worry and concern and letting people know that your mother has walked out on us and I don't have any idea where she is? It's humiliating! No. I'll continue calling tomorrow, and I'll speak to Mrs. Cadaver myself when she gets back.
So that's it then?
Phoebe, I know this has been terribly hard for you. It's been hard for all of us. But your imagination is running away with you.
No, it's not! My mother loves me! She would not leave without an explanation!
What a load of birds of sadness wing-dinging their way around Phoebe's family.
You liked Phoebe, didn't you, Salamanca?
Of course I did. Even when her imagination was getting the better of her, I could tell she was just scared. It was like she was the only one who couldn't see that maybe things weren't so hunky-dory, even before the arrival of the lunatic and the disappearance of her mother. Maybe she just wanted everyone else to think that everything was okay.
Phoebe was convinced her mama was kidnapped because she couldn't imagine her leaving for any other reason.
Exactly. I tried to tell her that maybe her mother was unhappy. Maybe she had gone looking for something. Maybe there was just nothing Phoebe could have done about it.
You mean her mama's disappearance had nothing to do with her?
Yeah, I guess that's right.
What happened next?
I asked Phoebe if she wanted to spend the weekend at my house. Golly, Phoebe, are you planning on spending a whole month here?
Where am I sleeping? You don't plan on asking me to share your room, do you?
Why, no. We built a whole new extension just for you.
You don't have to be sarcastic. I just thought you might sleep downstairs on the couch.
On the couch?
Yeah, I mean, people usually try to make their guests feel comfortable, and there's only one bed in here. It might get a little cramped, don't you think?
It's starting to feel like it.
Unless, of course, your mattress is lumpy. My mattress is very firm. A firm mattress is much better for your back. That's why I have such great posture. The reason you slouch is probably because of your mattress.
I don't slouch, do I?
You do slouch, Sal. Try looking in a mirror sometime. Don't you know anything about having guests? You're supposed to give your guests the best you have. You're supposed to make some sacrifices, Sal. That's what my mother always says. In life, you have to make sacrifices.
I suppose your mother made a great sacrifice when she took off, now didn't she?
My mother did not take off. Someone kidnapped her and is holding her against her will.
Sorry.
I have a headache.
Believe me, Phoebe, I know what you must be going through.
It might even be a migraine. My old foot doctor used to get migraines, only they turned out not to be migraines. Do you know what they were?
What?
A brain tumor.
Really?
Yes, in her brain.
Phoebe, I need to tell you something.
What?
You know how you said your mother would never leave without an explanation? Well,
Go on.
she might. A mother might do that.
My mother wouldn't. My mother loves me.
But she might love you and not be able to explain. Maybe it would seem too difficult. Maybe you would feel too permanent.
I don't know what in the world you're talking about.
She might not come back, Phoebe.
Shut up, Sal.
She might not. I just want you to be prepared.
She will too come back. You don't know what you're talking about. You're being cruel. Especially to someone with a potential brain tumor.
Phoebe, I'm sure it's not a brain tumor.
Easy for you to say. You don't have a shooting pain in your skull.
Would you like me to get you some aspirin or something?
My mother usually gets me a warm glass of milk when I don't feel well.
All right, I'll see if you have any milk in the fridge.
Oh, and she normally includes something sweet to take my mind off the illness.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Oh, and then she puts it all on a tray and serves it to me in bed.
Don't push it, Phoebe. Or it's going to be a very long weekend. And it was a long weekend. And it was hard not to hate Phoebe for most of it. But I really did understand what she was going through. One time, before my mother left, she told me that if you visualize something, you can make it happen. For example, if you're about to run a race, and you visualize yourself crossing the finish line first, then presto, when the time comes, it really happens. So, when my mother left, this is what I did. I visualized her reaching for the phone. Then, I visualized her dialing the phone. I visualized our phone number clicking through the wires. I visualized the ringing. It did not happen. I visualized her riding the bus back to Bybanks. I visualized her walking up our driveway. I visualized her opening the door. It did not happen. I knew exactly what Phoebe was doing and exactly why. I had done the same things when my mother had left. The next day, Mr. Winterbottom called and asked Phoebe to come home right away.
What's the matter? Is it Mom? Did she come back? Mr. Berkway, what are you doing here?
Hi, Phoebe. I wanted to return this, and
This is my own private journal with my own private thoughts.
I know, and I'd like to apologize for reading it aloud in class.
I didn't write all that stuff so that everyone in creation could hear.
I understand, but I'd like to explain something. Mrs. Cadaver is my sister.
Your sister?
Yes, and her husband is dead.
See, I told you.
But she didn't murder him. Her husband died when a drunk driver rammed into his car. Our mother, Mrs. Partridge, was also in the car. She didn't die, but she lost her sight.
Oh.
I just wanted to reassure you that Mr. Cadaver is not buried in her backyard. Your father also explained to me about your mother, Phoebe, and I'm terribly sorry that she's gone. But I want to assure you that Margaret has not kidnapped or murdered her.
I see.
I figured I would give that back to you so you don't have to worry about me reading it aloud in class anymore.
Thanks.
I'll see you in Sal in school tomorrow, I hope. Sorry to bother you this week. I just thought I should clarify some things.
Of course. We are grateful that you stopped by. Aren't we, Phoebe?
Good night, Sal. Good night, Phoebe. Good night, Mr. Winterbow.
Mrs. Cadaver didn't kidnap or murder my mother. Then where is she? Isn't there anything we can do?
Sweetheart, I'm afraid there isn't.
You don't care. If you did, you'd be trying harder.
Phoebe, I promise you I'm doing everything I can.
Then where is she? Why would she just leave? Why would she abandon us?
I don't know.
Oh, wait, am I home yet?
These roads do have speed limits, you know. Besides, I was hoping to make a stop in Yellowstone. It'd be a sin to come all this way and not stop at Yellowstone.
Is that where Old Faithful is? Oh, I'd love to see Old Faithful.
How long do you think it will take?
Oh, not too long, about a couple of hours, and then we'll be right back on the road, just in time.
In the meanwhile, why don't you keep telling about Phoebe?
Well, if we hadn't crossed off Margaret as the primary suspect, Phoebe decided that we should turn our attention to the likeliest culprit.
No, not Pickle. Bickle. I'm looking for a Sergeant Bickle. Never mind.
Not him?
Mm-mm.
And you're sure this will work?
Sal, he's Sergeant Bickle's son. Why else would he hug him like that? If we find Sergeant Bickle, then we'll find the lunatic.
Well, we're down to the last one. Here, dial.
It's ringing. Maybe I should hang up? Oh, yes, hello. Can I please speak with Sergeant Bickle?
This is Bickle. Hello?
Yes. Hello, this is, Susan. Susan Longfellow. I'm a friend of your son's and I was wondering if I may speak with him.
He's not home.
Do you know when he will be?
How did you say you know my son again?
How do I know your son? Well, you see, the thing is, I know him from the library, and he loaned me a book, but then I lost the book, and,
I wonder why he gave you this number. He didn't give you his number at school?
School? Well, you see, I think he did give me that number, but I lost it, and I had a terrible time tracking him down through the phone book.
You sure do lose a lot of things.
Oh, yes, I know, it's so embarrassing.
Would you like his number at school?
Yes, or better yet, you could give me his address, and I'll just send him the book.
I thought you said you lost the book.
You're right, I did say that, didn't I? But I'm hoping to find it.
One moment. Honey! What's Mike's address?
His name is Mike.
Mike the lunatic.
Are you ready?
Yes,
It's at the university campus at Chanting Falls.
Chanting Falls,
Freshman dormitory, room 209.
freshman dormitory, room 209.
Yes, yes, yes!
Huh?
Yes. Thank you very much.
That was brilliant, Sal. Absolutely brilliant.
Thanks. Let's just hope we got the right Sergeant Bickle.
Oh, we got him. And tomorrow we'll nail Mike the lunatic.
The next day, we took the long bus ride over to Chanting Falls, and before we knew it, we were in front of a freshman dormitory.
Sal, I don't think I can do this.
Phoebe, we didn't come all this way just to chicken out now.
I'm serious, Sal. I think I'm gonna have a heart attack. What if we knock on his door and he pulls us inside and slits our throats?
Somehow, I don't think that will happen. Look.
Mom?
Quick, hide!
Sal, what's my mother doing with the lunatic?
Beats me.
Look at her hair. It's so short. Did she cut it? Look at her having a gay old time. What's she so happy about?
Phoebe, be quiet.
No. How could she kiss him? Doesn't she know that she has a family at home? Has she completely lost her marbles?
Understandably, Phoebe was in an excessively black mood all the way home.
Oh, if I had a couple of rocks, I would have plunked them both in the back of the head.
Phoebe, where have you been? I have some news.
Great. I can't wait to hear it.
Your mother called. She's coming home tomorrow.
Wonderful. Does she have any other wonderful news to share?
I thought you'd be happy.
Oh, I'm happy. I'm tickled pink.
So I'll need all the help you can muster before she gets here. We can't let her see the house like this.
Like what? We're just gonna pretend that everything's been totally normal since she's been away?
Phoebe, please.
We're gonna act as if the house hasn't completely fallen apart since she walked out on us?
What I need right now is your help.
Fine. On one condition. You let Sal be present tomorrow when Mom comes home.
Phoebe?
Please, Sal, I need a witness.
A witness.
Oh, you'll see. Just you wait. You're in for the surprise of your life.
I can hardly believe it. I'm coming up on the end of my journey. I'll be in Lewiston. Love you, my Salamanca tree.
Hi-dee-ho! See? I told you we'd make it by the skin of our teeth, but we made it. I think we should press on to Coeur d'Alene. Put in a couple more hours, and then we'll be right on to Lewiston. How's that sound, Gooseberry? Gooseberry?
Just fine.
Are you alright, Graham?
Just tired, that's all.
We can stop if you want.
Oh no, I'd like to stay in Lewiston in Coeur d'Alene tonight. Your mama sent a postcard from Coeur d'Alene, a picture of a beautiful blue lake.
All right then, beautiful blue lake, here we come.
She's currently unconscious, and maybe for a while. We are going to need to conduct some tests. And while we do, I suggest you try and get some rest.
Young lady, I'm holding on to her hand, see? Now, if you want me to let go, you're going to have to chop my hand right off.
I'll be back in a few minutes with the doctor.
How's she doing?
Doctor said she had a stroke. Luckily, brought her in when we did. We're going to be here for a while, chickabiddy.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Here, take this. In case you need anything from the car, or anything else.
What do you mean?
Salamanca, she doesn't want you sitting around this here old hospital. Besides, we've come too far. If you want to see your mama on her birthday, you're gonna have to take matters into your own hands. Don't worry about us, your grandmother and I. We'll be right here.
Thanks, Gramps.
Now you be careful.
I can do this. It's not like I don't know what I'm doing. I've been driving Gramps' old pickup since I was 11. But then Mama left and something happened to me. I grew afraid of things I'd never been afraid of before. Like driving. But if I want to make it to Lewiston in time for her birthday, I don't have a choice.
Is it her?
No, it's just Sal. Sal, does this tie match this shirt?
Sal, thank heavens you're here. How does the house look?
It looks fine, I guess.
Really? My father and I spent all night cleaning. But Once it was spotless, she decided it looked too good, so we messed it up a little.
It looks fine, Phoebe.
She's here.
I hope you don't mind that I'm here for this.
Mind? Why would I mind? I can't do this.
Neither can I.
Hey, are you alright?
Sorry?
Did you need any help with your car?
No. I'm fine.
Yeah. Hell of a night to be driving, isn't it? Narrow turns right up against the cliff, and my palms just sweat thinking about it. Where are the others?
What others?
The others that are with you? The others that are driving?
Around.
I don't see too many people driving here at this time of night.
Do you drive by here often?
Every night, back and forth for work.
I see.
My brother was the one who was in that bus that went over the rails here a year ago. The wreckage was just so bad they didn't bother to bring it back up. Just left it down there. You know there was only one survivor, right?
Yeah, I know.
Hey, you tell whoever's driving to be careful, alright?
I already knew about that bus. How it lay on its side like an old sick horse. Rubber tires punctured and twisted on their axles. How inside there was absolutely no room to move amongst the mess of twisted seats and chunks of foam rubber. If only I could find what I was looking for down there. George? Phoebe? Sal, what are you doing here? Where are George and Phoebe? Very far. When you didn't answer the door, I thought
You didn't have to ring the bell. You could have just come in.
I know, I just thought, who's that? Yes, I'd like you to meet Mike.
Mike?
Dad, that's the lunatic. Phoebe, no.
Norma, I do hope you're going to tell us exactly what is going on here. I think we deserve an explanation.
You're right. I knew this would be difficult, but I didn't think. I'm not perfect, George.
Of course not, Norma. Did you
Please, George, let me finish. I've tried so hard to be perfect all these years, to try and make up for my mistakes.
Mistakes?
There's something I've never told you before, and I'm afraid you'll never forgive me for it.
Norma, I'm afraid I don't understand.
Mike is my son.
What? He is your son?
It was before I met your father. I gave him up for adoption even though I could hardly bear the thought of it. Oh, George, I've lived such a tiny life. When Mike found me, I got so scared. I had to go away and sort things out.
Are you gonna leave?
Leave?
Now that you have a son, are you gonna go run off with him?
Oh, Phoebe, no, of course not. I'm so sorry to have done this to you. You must be so angry.
You're darn right I'm angry. How could you just leave without saying goodbye?
I know, honey. It's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do.
I knew this wouldn't work.
I think we all need to take a deep breath, sit down and talk. Maybe we can sort some of this out.
You mean it?
Norma, there's nothing you can't tell me, no matter how bad things may seem.
George, thank you.
I may not say it often, but I love you. And the truth is, I can't manage without you.
You should see the pile of laundry.
Oh, Phoebe, I missed you so much.
Should I get going?
Oh, Sal, I'm sorry. Sal's like another member of the family.
So, you were not a lunatic?
Why do you keep calling me that?
Hey there, Sal.
Hi, Dad. Sal, my brother told me you're in his English class. That's a delightful surprise. He's a wonderful English teacher, don't you think?
Yeah.
Is everything okay? How's everything over at Phoebe's?
Phoebe's mother came back.
Oh, I see. Well, that's good, isn't it?
Sal, I think it's time I told you something.
I was just about to come down there after you. You kids ought to know better. What are you doing down there on that bus at this time of night? Where are the others?
There aren't any others.
You brought yourself up here?
In my grandfather's truck.
And where is he?
In Coeur d'Alene.
Pardon?
He's in the hospital with my grandmother. She got sick on the way over here.
Well, let me get this straight. You left your grandparents in a hospital in Coeur d'Alene, drove over 100 miles in the dark to the spot on this hill, all by yourself?
I drove carefully. My gramps taught me how to drive very carefully.
I can imagine. Now, you wouldn't mind telling me what was so all-fired important that you couldn't wait for somebody with a legitimate driver's license to drive you here after sunrise?
Today is my mama's birthday.
And where is she? I think you better come with me.
At first, I think he means he's taking me to jail. He doesn't, though. He drives into Lewiston and up a hill. At the end of the hill, he parks the car and leads me down a long path. The end of the path overlooks a valley and a creek. It is a beautiful spot that my father has chosen for Mama to rest. It is only now that I see her name etched in stone that I know my mother is not coming back. When my daddy heard that Mama's bus had gone over the railing, he came over here to make all the final preparations himself. It's been over a year since I've seen my Mama, and I've come to say goodbye.
I think it's about time we got you back to your grandparents.
Were you there the night of the accident?
Yes.
Did you see my Mama?
I saw a lot of people, Salamanca, and I'm sorry to say if I did see her mother, I didn't know it.
Did you see Mrs. Cadaver?
Of course I saw Mrs. Cadaver. Everyone saw Mrs. Cadaver. It was 9 hours after that bus rolled over, after all the stretchers had been brought up the hill. Her hand came out of the window, a moving hand. Turned out to be the only one that night. I wish it had been your mother's.
Mrs. Cadaver was sitting next to my mother. They didn't know each other at first, but at the end of their journey, 6 days later, they were friends. My mother told Mrs. Cadaver all about Bybanks, about the swimming hole and the fields and the singing trees. Do you think that if she told Margaret all that stuff, it means she was missing us?
I'm sure of it. Now, how is it you know all this?
Margaret told me, the day Phoebe's mother came back, that my father had met the only survivor from my mother's bus crash, and when he found out that she had been sitting next to my mother, they started a friendship, but I refused to believe it. I couldn't just accept that Mama was dead. I thought that maybe I'd come to Lewiston, and I'd find her in a field, and she'd call out to me, "Salamanca, take me home!" I know better now. Happy birthday, Mama.
Gooseberry, I've known you since I was 17 years old. God dang, that was a long time ago. Back then, I didn't stand still for any girl. But then, you came running into that view, that long, flowing hair of yours, and that was the end of it. I followed you around like a sick old dog for 3 weeks before I asked your pa if I could marry you. He was afraid you wouldn't stand still long enough for me to propose. But you did. And these last 51 years have been the greatest surprise of my entire life.
Gramps?
Our gooseberry's gone, Sal. I'm gonna miss my gooseberry. Did you see your mama?
Yeah,
Is she gonna be okay?
I think so.
I'm sure your daddy will be glad to hear that.
Gramps makes arrangements to fly Graham's body back to the Aspen Grove where they got married. It's a long drive back to Euclid without her, but on the way we invent the moccasin game, where we pretend we're walking in someone else's moccasins. Like, if I were walking in Graham's moccasins right now, I would want to cool my feet in a river. Or if I were walking in Phoebe's moccasins, I might have a hard time accepting Margaret as just a plain old nurse.
I still don't understand why they keep so many weird and dangerous things in their house. It's strange.
She doesn't want to get rid of them. They belong to her husband. They're reminders.
Seems like some pretty strange stuff to keep around so you remember someone.
Yeah, but sometimes I don't think we always have a choice on where the memories lie.
So, you about ready to leave?
Yeah,
We're sure gonna miss you and your daddy, Sal.
we're gonna miss you too.
How's your mother doing, Phoebe?
Great. Really, I haven't seen her feeling this good in a long time.
I'm glad to hear it.
Here, Sal, a little something for you before you go.
Don't judge a man until you've walked 2 moves in his moccasins.
Wait a minute. It was you, wasn't it?
Guilty as charged. Did you like them? Margaret reads them to me from the paper each morning. When there's a nice one, I ask her to copy it down.
But why did you leave them on my porch?
I thought they'd be grandiful surprises, like fortune cookies, only I didn't have any cookies to put them in. Did you like them anyway?
Sal, wait!
Hey, Ben, what you got there?
I heard Sal was going back to Bybanks, so I got her a gift.
What is it?
A kiss? You're gonna give him a kiss because he gave you a chicken? You never do cease to amaze me, Sal.
I already gave it a name, but you can change it if you want to.
What is it?
Blackberry.
She's perfect.
Okay, you two, let's not forget that there are other people present, shall we?
For as long as I live, I will never forget you, Phoebe Winterbottom.
You better not.
Now I'm back on the farm with Daddy and Gramps. Gramps has been giving me driving lessons again, and while we drive around, I tell him stories my mother used to tell me. His favorite one is about a woman who never dies. She goes from a baby to a mother to an old woman, and then back to a baby again. On and on she goes, living 1,000 lives. Gramps likes this, and so do I. We count trees and play the moccasin game. One day, while playing that game, I realized that our whole trip to Lewiston had been a gift from Graham and Gramps to me. They were giving me a chance to see what my mother had seen and maybe even feel what she had felt on our last trip. Phoebe and Ben are supposed to be giving me a visit soon. I can't wait to show them everything here at Bybanks. The fields and the hayloft and the chicken coop. Blackberry is queen of the coop. Mama would have liked that. I still do miss her a lot, but Dad was right. We didn't need to bring her body back because she's still here. In the barn, in the fields, and in the trees.